Alright guys, this video is for people who have a relatively weak riser, meaning their pronation, back pressure, cupping, finger flexion, and that's it. Yeah, those all, and side pressure. Those all things are relatively stronger, but their riser hugely lacks, maybe due to long muscle insertions or something like that. Basically it's your genetically weak point. So how do you play in that case? So in that case, if you are a top roller, for hook pullers, riser can be adjusted, right? uh, Hook pullers know how to play without using much of the risers. It's because hooking is mostly ulnar deviation. You only might use some riser in the setup, but apart from that, it is mostly ulnar deviation. So for top rollers, it becomes a challenge because a lot of times you fail to get a good setup where your riser is protected, like it is not attacked, and you can safely play without having to use much of your riser. So the setup for that looks something like this. So let's say you're getting a referee's grip. So uh, you place your hand like this. Here's your elbow. Now the first thing the referee is going to do is set the webbings and this direction of your fingers equal. So he will basically try to pull your riser down and adjust so that uh, your webbing becomes, webbing is nothing but just this gap, this skin between the index finger and the thumb. So that part, this is webbing. So this just needs to be the same height as your opponent. It can't be like this. Now I don't have an opponent right now to show, but I can explain it like this. So let's say this is the hand of your opponent and this is your hand. Your opponent's hand cannot be placed like this, and your hand cannot be placed like this. In this case, your webbing is higher than his. I hope you get that. So, and most arm wrestling, most people who follow arm wrestling seriously know these basics. So the next thing is, yeah. So he will try to pull your riser down. So while he does that, what you should do is not let it drop down. Instead of letting your riser drop down, you let your entire hand slide back and adjust so that your webbing comes down. So basically you're dragging your elbow backwards so that your webbing comes down. You can see this, my webbing is coming down as I drag my elbow backwards. Now once you drag your elbow backwards, you have now equal webbing as your opponent, and yeah, an equal direction and the same direction angle of the fingers with respect to the normal. Okay, that was a physics reference, but yeah. So now you close your thumbs, and now while you close your fingers, yeah. Now once you close your thumbs, your opponent, let's say he's a posting top roller, so he will try to place his fingers on as close to your thumb knuckle as possible. So his fingers are gonna look something like this, and notice that your riser is still intact. So basically you have space to deviate in ulnar direction. You have space, like you have as your riser is fully engaged, your ulnar deviation is completely disengaged. You have full range of motion for to deviate your wrist ulnarily, if that's a word. So your opponent places his fingers like this. Now notice this is the position you don't want. You don't want your opponent to be his opponent's finger to be very high on your hand, because now his cupping is directly attacking your high uh, knuckle back pressure, basically riser to a very large amount. You don't want that. So what you do now is you use that leftover ulnar deviation space you have. So basically, while you close your fingers, you you do ulnar deviation. That is that what basically that would do in the setup is that he can't move now. He's done placing his fingers. You say to the referee that I want a lower grip, so you are allowed to do ulnar deviation. So you deviate ulnarily. So and while doing that, notice that even though your fingers are being placed at a lower position, but your opponent's fingers also move slightly downwards, and that makes a huge difference. Because if you notice, if you do low hand pronation exercises, this is exactly the similar height at which the uh, strap of your exercise band goes, or martial arts belt goes. It goes like this. It's from the thumb to this direction. This is that's the distance from the knuckles. Around, if you can make your opponent's fingers slide down even this distance, that setup is basically optimized for you to protect your riser and use the other strengths. And basically the uh, impact of the other strengths is amplified in this setup, because riser requirement drops down hugely. Thank you.